Hello, my name's Sarita and I'm speaking to you today from Soulhenge, and I'm here to help you understand the truth about who you are. Now, what I wanted to share with you today was a daily practice which will help you to transcend your consciousness, to ascend your conscious awareness. And it's a practice that you can do in every single moment, in every single now, using every single now as an opportunity to come into self-awareness. And this practice is called Ingress and egress. It's the practice of consciously allowing what comes into you. So that could be energetically, emotionally, physically, aurically. So what comes into you, knowing that that affects what comes out from you, your ingress and your egress, because your egress affects how you relate to the world and other people, and in fact the entire cosmos, because we are all one thing. So what happened with this process is I sort of started doing this process, I don't know, 20 years ago, but I've been doing it very intently for the last 2 years because it became very incorporated in my shamanic training, ingress and egress. And so what's happened is that the more that I've used this daily awareness in my life, the more I've acted upon it with choice, the more I have come into my sovereign power, and the happier and healthier and more awake I have become. Because what happens with this practice is that as you are moving and interacting with your environment, you begin to understand that you have a conscious choice about what you allow in. And this is a very, very personal journey. And I'm going to share with you some of the ingresses that I have changed in my life. But for me, those ingresses have been very important, but for you, they might not affect you at all. You need to find out what the ingresses that serve you really are and change them accordingly, letting go of things that aren't serving you. So, for example, one of the biggest ingresses that I have changed in my life, and it has been I started doing this 20 years ago, actually, is that I never watch TV. I literally never watch TV anymore. And that was because about 20 years ago, I really started suffering from chronic anxiety. And actually, it was a complete gift, because that's what, it was one of the great things that made me discover meditation, because obviously that helped. So basically, I was suffering with chronic anxiety, and I began to understand that every time I was in front of the television, I started to feel anxious and fearful. And what I've now understood, obviously, is that television is a program. It's programming you to believe certain conditions are true in your life. And what happens with ingress and egress is that the more you do this, the more you let go of programs, so what other people are telling you to think and do, and the more you come into your sovereign power and understand what you want to think and do in every creative moment. So the first thing I did was I let go of TV, because I don't want to be told by anybody else how to think and feel. And you know what television is like? You've only got to watch the news and you're going to start feeling absolutely fearful. You're going to think we're all separate. You're going to think war's necessary and there's just a massive amount of lack and everything's going, everything's going wrong. So that's the news. And then you've got all things like, television commercials, which tell you are less than if you don't have all these material goods, that you must give your power to a doctor or take tablets if you are ill. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't do these things, but basically they're programs. And if you listen to television a lot, your subconscious mind is going to be affected by what you are being told. And so if you are careful with your ingress, you will come more and more into a state of sovereign power where you choose actively how you think and feel in accordance with how things are affecting your personal vibration. So that was one ingress that really changed my life. And so now that's a massive thing that I'm not being programmed. So I've got all this space left in my head where I can create my own conscious programs, okay? And it's really important for me that I don't ingest more fear and anxiety than I need to. Firstly, because I'm a healer and I don't want to, you know, dump that on anybody else. And I don't want to dump any anxiety or fear on any of my friends or family or associates if I can possibly help it. So it's just going to help me to limit that kind of exposure. So another ingress that has changed me massively is about 1.5 years ago, I became a vegetarian. And I'm not telling any of you to become vegetarian because this is a personal journey. If you love eating meat, it makes you feel good, you love the taste of it and you're great with it, eat meat. It's your personal journey. If it's serving you, if coming into communion with eating meat is serving you, do that. And we're all different. And thank goodness we have all these flavors of humans that are all different, which makes life interesting. But for me, I gave up eating meat because I didn't want to absorb the energy of animals that had been killed in fear. That was my predominant thing. And obviously, yes, I don't want to eat animals anyway, and also, you know, save the planet. It's one of the best things you can do to help the planet. So there was all of that in there. But for me, I had this real idea that I didn't want to ingest things that had been killed in a fear-based state, because I felt that that was ingesting more fear than I would be egressing, you know, either to other people or into my environment or in my life. So, and what happened with me is the minute I made that decision, I'm the only vegetarian in my house, so it's not easy. You know, I live with 3 boys who love, you know, steak and chips. So basically, the minute I did that, I really started to feel cleaner. I felt physically and energetically and emotionally my vibration go up, and I felt good about myself, you know, because I think for years I had been numbing myself to the fact that I didn't really like eating meat. You know, I'd been numbing myself. So I consciously woke up to that program, to that unconscious program of just consuming, you know, what was easiest. And, you know, I lived in a family of boys and they all wanted to do that. So it's just easy. I consciously woke up into that program and I consciously changed my life. I changed what was coming in, and it's made me love myself more. And the whole thing is, when you become conscious of your ingress and egress, you are elevating your awareness that you are a being of love, that you love yourself enough to make these changes. And you can make these changes in any aspects of your life. You know, if you, this is quite a hardcore one, but if you hang around with people who drain you, or, well, no one can make you feel anything, but if you hang around with people in whose company you feel drained or depressed or low, then you have a choice to limit that exposure. And I know that sometimes it's hard if these are family members and things like that, but actually if you limit your exposure and your elevation vibrates, or you can hang out with people who make you feel great about yourself and make you feel happy and energized, then that's going to elevate your vibration, and that's only going to serve these people if you come into contact with them again. And obviously, it's going to serve you. So really, there are so many ways that you can change your ingress. You know, what are you looking at in your environment? Have you got beautiful pictures up on the walls of your house? Are you reading books that make you feel low? You know, I can't, books have changed for me as well. You know, I used to be a prolific reader when I was young, and I used to read like a book every 2 days. I'm a mad speed reader, and I used to read everything. And now I just cannot bring myself to read things like thrillers or books with murder in them or anything like that. It just doesn't resonate with me anymore. I just don't want that in my life anymore. I want to love myself enough to feel good as much of the time as it's humanly possible to do so. And obviously, as humans, you know, we're in this challenging environment. We're co-creating with other people all of the time, and it's challenging. And I'm just like many of you. I often feel sad. I often feel angry. I often feel pain. I often feel depressed. I often don't know why I'm here, you know, all of those things. But what I found is the more consciously aware I am of my ingress, the more my egress changes. And we all know that the signal that you emit out into the quantum field as a vibration will bring back into your life, into your manifested reality, vibrational matches. So if you change your ingress, that affects your egress, it affects your ingress, and you come into this cycle of a higher conscious awareness of yourself and the truth of who you are, and your life and your health and your happiness just gets better and better. So it's a really good practice to incorporate into your daily life, because it's all very well meditating, but the fact of the matter is we are third dimensional beings. We are manifested into these bodies, and so part of awakening yourself spiritually, a part of elevating your consciousness, is allowing for your embodied reality to be a part of that process, and changing what comes into your body, whether it's emotionally, mentally, physically, or energetically. So I hope that that has been helpful to you. It has really, really changed my life, and that's why I wanted to share this process with you. And if you like this video, please like it. And if you would like to receive more videos, and I always do a meditation every week, then please subscribe to my channel. Otherwise, I wish you all the blessings in the world, and thank you for listening.